Savannah Safari, your tryst with adventure. It is unlike anything you have seen before.
Drop. That was me playing with my Labrador Budo. Labradors have strong sense of smell. This is Flash, our next door neighbor. He is a beagle and, as you can see, has an adorable way of taking commands and expressing his love for his master. Both of them are very intelligent, obedient, and form an inseparable part of our families. Over the ages, dogs have been considered as the best friend of man. In fact, they were a part of human family even during the Indus Valley civilization of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. Over the ages, man has sent his most courageous and strong son to the army to fight his enemy. So it is quite natural that from time to time he had also sent his canine family members to fight in wars. Yes, today I will speak on how dogs have over centuries fought in wars for their family, that is, their human family.
Hi, I am Basak from Savannah Safari, that's Savana Safari. As a wildlife enthusiast, I speak and write on the wonders of Mother Nature. And I specifically undertake customized adventure tours to Kenya and Tanzania.
It is said that everything is fair in love and war. In 525 BC, the Persians, while attacking the Egyptians, used this adage to their advantage. The Egyptians were very fond of their pets like dogs and cats. Anubis, one of their revered gods, had the head of a dog. So dogs were also revered and had an inseparate burial ground in the temple of Lord ANUBIS. The Persians cunningly exploited this reverence of dogs by Egyptians and put a pack of dogs in front of the advancing Persian army. The Egyptians, shocked by this sacrilegious strategy, could not stop the advancing Persians and succumbed to them. So we find that even 2500 years ago, dogs were sent to war by one nation against the other. Unethical use of dogs, however, backfired for some countries. During World War II, the Russians trained dogs strapped with explosives to run under German tanks, thereby destroying the tank and also killing the loyal dogs. When the German tanks actually rolled in and faced the Russian tanks, these dogs were released. To the utter frustration of the Russians, the dogs started running below the Russian tanks instead of the German tanks, since they were familiar with the Russian tanks and the smell of fuel of the Russian tanks. During World War I, the Belgian army used pairs of dogs to pull light machine guns or cartloads of ammunition. Unlike horses, the dogs were well suited to transporting loads over snow and through craters. At other times, they were used to guard their unit and handlers. In war, success of an army depends on its communication system. Dogs have traditionally contributed to this critical sphere. Mostly, they would help lay cable from one unit to the other. When the terrain was unsuitable for cable laying, they themselves carried messages from one unit to the other. Dogs were so critical for the army that in World War I alone, more than 10 lakh dogs were deployed. Their role expanded in World War II when they would also locate booby traps and identify concealed and hidden enemy snipers. The dog's keen sense of smell and hearing would make them far more effective at detecting these dangers than humans. Accordingly, they would be para-dropped in various locations. Of these, millions of army dogs of World War I and II, some stood out for their unique contribution on some defining occasions. Stubby, the most decorated US Army dog, was just a mongrel adopted by the 102nd Infantry Regiment. He quickly adjusted to army life and soon traveled to France with the unit. At that point of time, gas attacks by the Germans was a major deterrent for the Allied. Soon it was discovered that Stubby had a special ability to sniff out incoming gas attacks much before it actually reached his unit. This saved lots of lives and Stubby became an instant hero. At other times, he would bring back wounded Allied soldiers from the no man's land. On one such occasion, he identified a German infiltrator and even got him captured in no time. The US Army recognized Stubby's unique quality, dedication and presence of mind and promoted him as a sergeant. Antis, a Czech war dog, had an uncanny ability to pick up sound of approaching enemy aircraft much before humans or their machinery could pick it up. And this would not only save lots of lives but also ensure a befitting reception to the enemy by the Allied. Post-bombing, he would dig out men from the debris, often risking his own life. He was considered so lucky by the airmen that they would often take Antis in flights during action. His name spread both amongst the Allied as well as the Japanese, and soon Antis, along with his handler, was captured by the Japanese as prisoner of war. He remained interned for 2 years and then returned home to a hero's welcome. In England, he was awarded the Dickens Medal, which is commonly known as Animal Victoria Cross. The world's first therapy dog, acknowledged by Animal Planet, was a tiny 2 kg Yorkshire Terrier named Smokey. She was found in a foxhole by a US Army unit. Because of her small size, she could not work as an army dog, so she visited injured soldiers in field hospitals and entertained them with her antics. She became an instant hit, and the field hospitals often used to eagerly look forward to her visits. Doctors were marveled at how well their patients responded to treatments post Smokey's visit. Smokey did an astounding feat in the Pacific. One day in Philippines, 2 US Army units found themselves separated on either side of a runway. None could act as they could not communicate with each other. Smokey rose to the occasion and, shedding her role of therapy dog, laid a 70 feet long communication wire right below the runway, squeezing herself through a 8-inch narrow pipe and crawling to the other side. Post this feat, the 2 units could not only communicate with each other but also launch a coordinated attack on the Japanese. This singular act saved lives of 250 US soldiers and 40 US airplanes. She returned home as a war hero, met the US President, led ceremonial marches and even acted in Hollywood movies. Today, you can find several memorials of Smokey spread across the USA. Chips, an Alsatian Husky mix, was awarded a Silver Star by the US Army for his exemplary performance in Bougainville, Papua New Guinea. When the US Army landed there in the cold night of December 1945, a hostile Italian unit led by a machine gun welcomed them. The machine gun sprayed the beach with bullets while the US unit lay immobile and suffered silently. At this point of time, Chip's handler released him with appropriate instruction. Chips vanished in the darkness. And to the surprise of his handler, emerged quite some time later from behind the machine gunners. He viciously attacked the unsuspecting gunner and his comrade, causing them to flee, and then did a coup de grace by toppling the machine gun from its perch. With the machine gun gone, the US Army swarmed over the beach, neutralizing the rest of the Italians. Late that night, it is said, Chips celebrated his campaign with rum and chips. He spent the rest of his stint keeping a watch on German and Italian prisoner of wars and catching occasional escapees. Chips' astounding achievement has been chronicled in the famous Hollywood film Chip the War Dog. Of the millions of war dogs who fought in the two wars, almost all perished, and only a few thousand could return to their home. For the war dogs, it was an endless story of dedication and sacrifice for their human compatriots. I cannot help mentioning here the heart-wrenching sacrifice of one such US Marine dog, Butch. One day, Butch's handler was caught up in an ambush and was so badly wounded that he lay immobile, bleeding profusely. Butch realized that without help, his master would die. So, ignoring the rain of bullets, he dragged his friend to safety. He took 17 bullets during this journey and then lay down dead beside his master. So friends, next time we come across a mongrel in the street or a pedigreed pet dog next door, let us not ignore them as just another animal, but appreciate their intelligence and loyalty and remember their forefathers' contribution towards maintaining cherished civilization of us humans. Let us all salute them as our best friend, both in peace and war.
Please like, share and subscribe to my channel and join me in this amazing journey where I bring you face to face with the cradle of civilization.
Savannah Safari, your tryst with adventure.